Hello, everybody, and welcome into another edition of Texas Longhorns Live. I'm your host, as always, Matthew Miller. Please hit that like button. Please subscribe down below. And we are sponsored and brought to you by FanDuel Sports. We really appreciate them doing that for the show. Thank you guys again. Please hit that like button. Please subscribe down below. And let's jump right into this. So let's talk about the top 5 portal additions for the Texas Longhorns for this season or upcoming season. Again, I'm going to focus on guys that are going to provide 1 year. Obviously, we got guys with multiple years, and there's going to be one guy on this list that does provide multiple years possibly. Let's start talking about it. So number 5 for me is Ian Gifford. Or Gefford. I think it's Ian Gifford from Arkansas. The nose tackle, 380 pounds. And he fits right into this Will Muschamp scheme, which is going to be a lot of 3-3 style defense, 3-3 mint style defense. So, and you need a big guy to plug up the middle to let your linebackers flow downhill. I think this is this guy. And on top of that, guys, you're getting a guy that's a known get. This is a guy that has played in the SEC. He knows SEC brand of football. He is a very physical and honestly kind of dominant football player. He's not going to get after the quarterback. That is not his job. His job is to plug up as much space and gaps as he can and let the linebackers flow downhill. So I really like this get for Texas. I think this is an underrated get. This is one of those gets, your average fan, when you go to the stadium, isn't going to know who Ian Gifford is. So this is a really good get for Texas. Ian Gifford out of Arkansas. Number 4 is Hollywood Smothers. If you've been following this channel long enough, guys, you've known that I've been begging for Texas to have a home run hitter at the running back position. This is a position that, honestly, we haven't had a home run hitter since Jaden Blue walked off campus and went to the Dallas Cowboys. Trey Wisner is a nice running back. Trey Wisner, if you look out through the history of college football playoff teams, is a number 3 on a national championship team. He's not a home run hitter. He's not even a number 2 back, in my opinion, on a national championship team. Now, this may change because of all the leaving via the portal and the thinning out of the top of the sport. You may see guys like a Trey Wisner be a number 2 back on a national championship team. But I'm just letting you know, based off past his history, Trey Wisner has not been that guy. So that's why I think Hollywood Smothers is big. 6 touchdown runs of 50 or more yards last year for Hollywood Smothers. 6 runs over 50 more yards. He had 6 touchdowns total. Really big game threat there. Being able to break off run, make guys miss. I think he averaged over 4 yards per carry when he off of just first contact. So again, he makes people miss. He breaks tackles. He can also catch out of the backfield. I think that's another dynamic Texas missed desperately from the running backs. CJ Baxter couldn't really do that even when he was healthy. Trey Wisner's never really been a lead at that. So this is a really big get to me, Hollywood Smothers is, and I'm really excited to have him on the 40 acres. So really, really good get for Texas, number 4. Number 3 is going to surprise some people because this is going to be lower on the list than most people would have him. I have Cam Coleman. And you'll see the number 2 guys ahead of him, I think, are just going to play a bigger role. I think Cam Coleman isn't going to put up the stats a lot of Texas fans want him to. I don't think Cam Coleman in the regular season is going to be a 12 or 1,300-yard receiver. I could be wrong on that, but I think what he's going to do is draw the eyes away from the other wide receivers. I think you're going to see Emmett Mosley have a pretty big year next year if he's healthy. I think you're going to see Ryan Wingo have a pretty big year next year if he's healthy. Cam Coleman is going to draw a lot of attention and a lot of eyes because he's the second most talented wide receiver in the country behind Jeremiah Smith, in my opinion. So I think that's a really big get for Texas. We had 700 plus yards last year at Auburn with Jackson Arnold. I think you're going to see like a 1,000 to 1,100 yard regular season from him. I think we'll have 7 to 10 touchdowns, 60 catches around there. He's going to be the number 1 option. There's no doubt. And he's going to put up good stats. I just don't think he's going to put up these generational stats that a lot of Texas fans think he's going to. I think it's going to be a lot of eyes drawn towards him to help the other guys. And I think it also opens up space underneath. When he's running these vertical routes, guys, there's going to be a lot of horizontal routes open. I think even guys like Dalen McCutcheon could eat a little bit more with this. Khalid Lockett, not as much because he's more of a vertical guy as well. But I mean, if this offense can live up to what I think it's going to, there's a possibility of a really beautiful 4-receiver set out there with Cam Coleman and Khalid Lockett running a lot of vertical routes and Ryan Wingo and Emmett Mosley kind of working the middle of the field, or Ryan Wingo running horizontally, and Emmett Mosley working the middle of the field. That could be beautifully run, and I think there's a very big possibility of that. So I have Cam Coleman at 3. Again, you could put him higher in my opinion, but right now I think I'm going to go with 3. If you guys disagree with that, let me know down in the comments. Number 2 is this guy, because I love this. I didn't know it was a possibility. He jumped in the portal, the day of Texas signing him, Melvin Ciani from Wake Forest, 72.8 Pro Football Focus grade. Guys, a 65 grade is a good football player. This is above good. Whatever their verbiage is for that, I don't know, but it's not quite elite. I think an elite grade somewhere between 77 plus. But it's a really good football player, and he's an elite pass blocker. He's got an 80.1 or something like that pass blocking grade from PFF. He's a very good football player. He's a versatile football player. At Temple, he played left tackle. At Wake Forest, at Temple, he played right tackle. At Wake Forest, he played left tackle. He can play both tackle positions, and honestly, that's a big deal because we just saw Trevor Goosby have to get shoulder surgery. If he's not 100% healthy next year, it's nice to have someone like Melvin Ciani that can play right tackle if he is healthy, and left tackle if he's not, and Brandon Baker can stay at right tackle. So another thing about this guy, this is the one guy on the list that has multiple years. He can be in this Texas program for multiple years. So it makes it even bigger, not for next year, but for 2027, because then you can put Brandon Baker back out to guard if he's going to slide down, back out to tackle if he's going to slide out to guard next year. And then you can put Melvin Ciani at left tackle or Brandon Baker at left tackle, and those can be your tackles for 2027. So it's a really big get for multiple reasons. I think it elevates your offensive line a lot because you're going to have him, Brandon Baker, Trevor Goosby. Still got to find that left guard position. We'll talk about that a little bit later. And then Connor Robertson. I like that offensive line. I think this is a really good football player in Melvin Ciani. I think, again, versatility added. Brings up the floor and brings up the ceiling of the room. Really, really good get. And obviously, Texas tamper here, I don't care. Again, as I've been saying on this channel, this is the wild, wild west. Tamper your ass off. I hope there's guys in this national championship game playing right now that Texas is trying to get in the portal while they can, because there's still a couple holes to fill. So, again, Melvin Ciani for me is number 2. Number 1 is Rasheem Biles. I really like the Rasheem Biles addition. I think this is someone we desperately needed. I think this is a guy that honestly is probably a better overall linebacker in this system than even Anthony Hill was last year for Texas. I think this is a guy that can play the run very well. He's physical, even though he's only 6'1", about 230 pounds. But he's an insane coverage linebacker. 2 interceptions for pick sixes, 3 interceptions total, multiple forced fumble recoveries, and he's an explosive athlete when he gets the ball in his hands. He's a very, very good football player. I think there's a chance at the end of the year next year, we're talking about this guy as a solidified first-round pick. Right now, Anthony Hill in a weaker draft class is, borderline first-round pick. He'll be a top 50 pick for sure, but we may not know he's a first-round pick, whereas Rasheem Biles has the chance to solidify himself there. Go watch his high school tape, guys. He was a safety and played wide receiver. That's why the ball skills are so good. He's a phenomenal athlete. I really, really like what I think he can do in this Will Muschamp scheme. He can cover sideline to sideline, and he can cover north and south, and that's what you need. You need that type of guy in the system, flowing downhill and flowing sideline to sideline, and even back sometimes. So versatility, really physical, really smart football player. I really, really love the Rasheem Biles ad. So that does it for my top 5. Again, Ian Giffard, number 5 for me, the nose tackle. Number 4 is Hollywood Smothers. Number 3 is Cam Coleman, a little bit lower on the list than people would probably think. Melvin Ciani is number 2 for me, and number 1 is Rasheem Biles. So that is my top 5 portal additions for the Texas Longhorns going into next year. One of those guys will also affect 2027 most likely in Melvin Ciani. So again, guys, please hit that like button. Please subscribe down below, and let me know your top 5 portal additions. Maybe you want to add a couple in there, like a Bo Masco or a Raleek Brown is more your flavor at the running back position. But again, guys, please hit that like button. Please subscribe. I really appreciate it. Again, guys, there's still holes to fill on this roster. We're going to get into this. So the biggest needs Texas has to fill in the roster as of this moment, January 19th, 2026. Can't believe it's 2026, by the way. So I have linebacker, offensive line. I think quarterback and wide receiver are the 4 I still think they could fill. Offensive line and linebacker being the 2 biggest needs, bar none. Guys, we don't have enough interior depth in this offensive line room at all. We're talking here. Center, we have Nick Robertson. That's it for backup. And then Connor Robertson. So you're talking about two guys that could possibly play center. We lost Daniel Cruz, and Daniel Cruz was someone I like. Daniel Cruz was someone, if you told me next year, Daniel Cruz, or not next year, but 2 years from now, Daniel Cruz was the starting center in the 2027 season, I would have believed you. That's what I thought was going to happen. That's not what happened. Unfortunately, he transferred to NC State. He's going to play this year. It's going to be very interesting to watch because I think there's a lot of talent there. And I think there's a possibility, guys, he could be just as good as Connor Robertson is at center. And I like Connor Robertson a lot. I think Connor Robertson, if I'm just throwing a letter grade on him, is a B minus C plus player, which is definitely good enough at the center position, especially with all the knowledge he has being in the system for 5 years. But that's a big miss to miss him. And then you have Nicholas Robertson, who's coming in as a freshman. So you have to go and find depth in the portal at the center position. I don't care if it's some guy at, we just took Marcus Boswell from Akron, who played 1 year and only had like under 20 tackles. Go and get a center that's played 2 or 3 games, but you like the measurables because you have to have depth at some point. And again, you're not running out of time because the portal is closed for people to enter. You're still I don't think you'll see any Texas guys enter the portal, but you'll still see guys trickle in from non-national championship teams until Wednesday because of Martin Luther King Day today. They're allowed that. But you have to go and get someone capable there. They don't need to be great. Again, you just need depth pieces here where this is more of an NFL type roster, what we're moving towards. So you have to go get someone. Now, let's move over to the left guard position. Dylan Sikorsky is fine for depth. I have said that. I think Dylan Sikorsky is a-okay depth piece. Dylan Sikorsky can't be my starting left guard if you want to win a national championship. That's just me. If you guys disagree with that, hit me down in the comments below if you disagree. But he only started 6 games at Oregon State. If you read what they were saying about him, he wasn't even going to get his job back at Oregon State if he came back. So I like the measurables. You're talking about someone 6'7", I believe, big guy over 315 pounds, moves his feet not that well, and that's the issue. He's kind of reminds me of Connor Stroh. So you saw what Connor Stroh did, and you kind of go and get that same type of guy. Now, I do think there's a little bit more upside here because body type-wise, I think he's got a little bit better weight on him than Connor Stroh, but he's not super athletic, and we saw this multiple times versus the elite defenses over the past couple years, guys. When you run the type of schemes Sark does, which is pulling your guards a lot, they have to be able to get out and block in space and be able to at least get in front of people. We saw these guys would get beat and have to hold, and that would cause penalties. And if they didn't hold, it would blow up the play. So I kind of see the same things with Dylan Sikorsky. I don't think he can be the starting center or starting left guard right away. We're going to have to go in and get a left guard. The Western Kentucky kid did jump in. I like his tape. Seymour, I believe his last name is. It's better than Sikorsky's, but it's not great. It's not phenomenal. Right now, we've kind of missed there, guys. The Church kid that went to Texas Tech, I didn't like from Louisville. I didn't think he was very good either. So I think we were good there. The guy that I wanted was Alou Baugh, and I think he ended up at Texas Tech as well. So it sucks. Right now, I do not see the starting left guard for Texas in the portal. Again, that could happen. There's still a couple days that names could trickle in because you have 2 days for paperwork plus the holiday. So Wednesday morning, we will know 100% if there's any names that trickle in, and then we'll know about these guys in the national championship teams. But I don't think Pat Coogan's jumping in. He will be going in the NFL, who I wanted Texas to go after last year. So it's not good enough right now, guys. It's really just Dylan Sikorsky and a couple young guys. You have Jaden Chapman here who could play multiple positions, but do I want Jaden Chapman starting for the 2026 Texas Longhorns? No. Do I want Nicholas Robertson starting at guard? I'm going to say this. I think Nicholas Robertson does have a higher upside than Dylan Sikorsky. Like if Nicholas Robertson comes in, if you watch his All-American Under Armour All-American game tape and practice tape, I liked it. It's good. Especially the practice tape. So if he comes in with the body type that he has, I think there's a chance. But again, do I want a freshman being there? No, we saw what happened with Nick Brooks, guys. Nick Brooks was not good at left guard, and he transferred. And I don't think he's going to be very good because you can't be this good in college if you keep switching teams like Nick Brooks has in high school up to college. But we won't talk about that. And then Jonte Newman, who comes over from Texas A&M, isn't a next year player. He's a 2027 guy. Like if you're telling me in 2027, Jonte Newman and Dylan Sikorsky are battling for a spot, I can live with that. I'm good with that. In Arch Manning's last year, you can't be having Dylan Sikorsky, Jonte Newman as your possible starting players at the guard position. You can't be having Nicholas Robertson as a freshman as the starting guard. So that is a big deal to me. I don't know how they're going to fill this at this point. It's going to be very interesting. A lot of the guys that you could even debate of like can start for Texas or compete at the spots are basically gone. Like right now, guys, the only guys in the portal are 100% backup football players. So we have to get better there. It's going to be very interesting. I don't know how they're going to do that. The linebacker position is one I still think you have to go get a Mike linebacker starter there. Could Anthony Smith be that? Yeah. Could Rasheem Biles be that? Yeah. But they're not preferable. Justin Cryer could be that, but I don't think, again, he lives up to the standard of being a starting Mike linebacker at the University of Texas. He's not in that same breath as an Anthony Hill. He's not in that same breath as a Derek Johnson. He's not in that same breath as a Malik Jefferson. He's not in the same breath as even a Gary Johnson. So I like Justin Cryer. I think he's a good football player. But again, look where he came from. He came from an absolute horrid Florida State football team. It's very hard to find horrid football teams with guys that can start at the University of Texas like Florida State was last year. So I think he's a good rotational player. And I think Rasheem Biles obviously is very good. I think Anthony Smith is very good, but I'm looking for that third linebacker to complement them. Marcus Boswell isn't that. He's a next year guy to me, can play some special teams, comes back home to Austin, Texas, who just came over from Akron. Justin Cryer is a nice football player. If he's your fourth or fifth linebacker, I'm cool with that. Fourth, honestly, I'm definitely cool with that. I don't think he can be your third linebacker on this team. So are you going to trust Tyler Atkinson to do that? I think he's good enough based off his high school film and his high school tape. 180 tackles in 3 years, every year out of high school. So, yeah, he's damn good. But do I really want him coming to be here as the third best linebacker at the University of Texas? No. And I'm going to be honest with you. I think Leon Lafau right now would be the third best linebacker if you put him back on this roster. I do. I think he's just as good, if not better, than Justin Cryer, and I like him more in the Will Muschamp scheme coming downhill. So I think Texas needs to go and get another starting quality linebacker. I don't know if you're going to be able to find that. Now, I will say linebacker does mean a little bit more in the Will Muschamp scheme, but it's still the least important position on the field for defense. You'd rather have a great defensive line. You'd rather have a great secondary. Linebackers are the least to me. But again, I still would like to get one more guy that can actually play for Texas next year and possibly be the third best linebacker. So definitely that's another spot to look at. And then the quarterback, honestly, is just a question on if you trust KJ Lacey to come in next year. And my question to that is, do I trust KJ Lacey to come in versus week 2 versus Ohio State? That's how I look at the situation. No, I don't. I do not trust KJ Lacey to come in and compete week 2 versus Ohio State. I think we lose that game if KJ Lacey enters that game. If you're telling me week 8 versus whoever we play, whether that's Tennessee, LSU, Oklahoma, A&M, I forget who it is, week 8, I think at that point he would be seasoned enough and he would be ready to come in. But the first 4 to 5 games, if Arch Manning gets hurt, I think there may be an issue there. I really do. So I think it's going to be very interesting. I think it's going to be hard to get someone as good as Matthew Caldwell. Matthew Caldwell could have gone and started at a Big 12 school, could have started at an ACC school. He decided to come to Texas, be the backup, and played well and sparing time. And he's probably just going to end up being a coach somewhere, honestly, or playing the Canadian Football League. He might get a call from an NFL team, make a practice squad, but he gave up a lot, guys, to come to Texas, and Texas probably paid him well. But they may believe in KJ Lacey, Diabell coming off the injury, so I don't think he's going to be the backup next year. It's going to be hard. I don't know how they're going to fill that. I don't know if they want to fill that. Maybe that's a question for the staff and for you guys as well. I'd like to know your guys' comments on that. Do you think they should go in and get another quarterback in the portal? I think they should. We'll have to see about that. Wide receiver, I think this is one where we are good, but if a major injury happens here, like if you lose one of the 3 of Emmett Mosley, Cam Coleman, Ryan Wingo, you're basically back to what you were last year. Unless Khalil Lockett takes the step I'm hoping he takes. That guy has a lot in the tank. To me, he was the best wide receiver recruit out of high school, including DeCorian Moore in that class. That's how I feel about him. I could be wrong. I may be wrong. I probably will be wrong, but that's my opinion on the situation there. If he takes the step I think he can take next year, I think this unlocks the offense to an amount that we haven't seen. I'm trying to think, if Khalil Lockett becomes who I think he becomes in the next year or two, we're talking insane talent on the Texas offense. Insane talent. Do I think that happens next year? I don't know. And if that's the answer you have to give for that, you have to go back in the portal and get someone. I'm not saying it has to be Matthew Golden. It has to be Cam Coleman. It has to be Isaiah Bond. But it has to be somewhere between Silas Bolden, who barely played, and Isaiah Bond. I'm not going to say Matthew Golden, but Isaiah Bond. It has to be somewhere between those. It has to be a wide receiver 4 to me that can compete for a wide receiver 4 to me, and doesn't scare the other younger guys off like, oh, I can compete and beat this guy. Because if you bring someone in that is for sure better, you're going to run 2 guys off, and that's not worth it to me for 1 year, in my opinion. So we'll have to see about that. But those are the 4 positions, guys, I see Texas for sure needing to hit: linebacker and offensive line. Quarterback and wide receiver are kind of questions. I don't know. If they don't hit those, I'm fine with it. I still give this portal haul as it sits right now a B. If they get another quality starting offensive lineman, it goes to an A. If they get another quality starting linebacker, it goes to an A. You're not going to hit this portal cycle perfectly. You're probably going to have to choose between a starting quality linebacker and a starting quality offensive lineman. I'm choosing the offensive lineman. That was the biggest weakness. And I do not trust Dylan Sikorsky. So again, guys, please hit that like button. Please subscribe down below. Let me know what you guys think of, the holes to fill in the roster and where you see the biggest holes and needs for this Texas team next year. But again, guys, please hit that like button. Please subscribe down below. And I'm going to let you know about the voice of college football bets real quick, courtesy of Mark Rogers.
College football is even more exciting when you've got some action on the line, and the games are even better when you're cashing in. And the voice of college football is the place to be to get the greatest value. Start with my picks: 75% against the money line, 58% against the spread, and I've got a 40-plus year track record. 11-0 in the college football playoff for me last year against the money line, 8-3 against the spread. And I'm just the warm-up act. Steve Merrill of Wager Talk is our ace in the hole, show stopper. 7 years with the voice of college football, over 30 years in the industry. Steve gives us analysis on all the big games, but you can't miss Steve's weekly under-the-radar pick. 28-12 against the spread the last 3 years. You also get picks from some of our top analysts here at the Voice of College Football, including Corey Bratta, Matt Zemek, and Steve Dace. Check out those numbers. Become a YouTube or Patreon member for just $99 per month. Go to the main channel on YouTube, click join, and then select a betting tier. Do the same thing on Patreon. Make 2025 a winner now.
Again, guys, please hit that like button and please subscribe down below. And we're going to get into the top 5 2027 prospects for Texas. But before that, we are brought to you by FanDuel. And if you want to place a bet, go to FanDuel. I'm going to place a bet on Texas to win the national championship. Right now, on FanDuel, they have the 4th best odds at plus 750. So go check that out if you're a Texas fan. If you're not, go and check the other odds for the other teams. I believe Ohio State, Oregon, and Notre Dame are all above Texas. Texas at plus 750. I like those odds. Arch Manning is also tied with CJ Carr for the #1 Heisman odds. So again, go over to FanDuel and check that out. Now, we get into the top 5 2027 prospects for Texas. And I'm going to talk about some guys that are going, I think, under the radar. I threw them on this list. And then the obvious names, the John Merediths of the world, I do have them on this list. But I want to talk about a couple guys that all visited Texas over Junior Day. Number 5 for me is Cam Hall. This is someone with a Smith Orogbo type ascension to me, where you see the body type. They didn't play. He's played football longer than Smith Orogbo, but you see the skinny body type with the long limbs and the physical attributes. And Cam Hall has that. 6'3", 235 pounds from Texas. Again, lock down the state, keep someone in the state of Texas, going to the University of Texas. And he's someone that I think right now could play linebacker if you needed him to. He's like a low 4-star recruit, some 3 stars on some services, or a 3-star on some services. And if you put him on 40 pounds, 30 pounds, he can be an edge in this system. He can be a linebacker in the system. I think he's a super versatile football player. This is the type of football player I like. You can play at multiple positions. You just get your best 11 on the field with Will Muschamp. And I think, again, he's got the frame of the coaching staff would get to dictate based off what they see on the field of where he fits and then put the weight on where he needs to. So I like this football player a lot. I think he's an underrated guy. The problem is, and this is the current state of college football, is he willing to sit for 2 years? Because that's what it's going to take. I don't know. If I'm him, honestly, I probably wouldn't. I would probably just take the money from a middle tier program, a lower tier Big 12 team. You would get to play right away, get your playing time, and then you would get other offers and you could transfer the next year. But that's the type of kid this is. If you can pay him enough and convince him to sit on the bench and wait his turn, he can be a difference maker. I really, really like Cam Hall. We'll have to see, though. It's early on. Texas did offer him. If you look at his offer list, it's TCU, Baylor, those type of schools. He would get more playing time there for sure. Number 4 for me, offensive line. We got to start hitting this offensive line, whether that's portal, whether that's recruiting. And number 4 is Peyton Miller, interior offensive lineman, also from the state of Texas, 6'5", 290 pounds. Finally, guys, go watch his tape. He can move in space. I am begging this coaching staff to get interior offensive linemen that can actually move in space. These guys that they've been recruiting cannot move in space. They do not move very well. And Sark loves to throw these short passes. He loves to throw these tunnel screens, these wide receiver screens, these mid screens. And this requires your running back screens, your offensive line to actually get out and move. Outside zone, a lot of pulling there. So we got to find some guys. I don't care if this guy only gets up to 310 pounds, fine. But if he can move and be athletic in this scheme, then do it. You're going to want to run the quarterback more as well. If you have KJ Lacey, Arch Manning, if he stays the next year, Diabell can move around a little bit. I think that's the way of the world now. Sark wants a guy that can run. And guess what? You're going to have offensive linemen that are athletic and long and limber and can get out and block for him. And this is one of those guys. Again, underrated football player. I hope we can land him. I don't know right now where Texas stands. I think they're in a okay position. That's the thing too. Just started with this 2027 class. We have a couple guys in there, Easton Royal, Carno Jones, among others, but I really like Peyton Miller, and I hope we can get him on board. He did visit Texas for the junior weekend, and Texas has not been prioritizing the junior weekend, and I completely understand that with the portal and everything, but he did visit. Number 3 for me is John Meredith. Guys, just go watch him. Go watch John Meredith play football. He's a long, lengthy corner that has ball skills. That is why he's a 5-star prospect. That's why he's one of probably 8 best players in the state of Texas, probably top 5, top 3, wherever you want to put him. He is high up on the list of state of Texas players. 6'2", 175 pounds, long, lengthy, plays the football, willing to get a little bit physical on the outside as well. I like him a lot. Unfortunately, I do think Texas A&M is the big, hill to climb here. I think they're going to end up with him, which really sucks. We're going to have to play him at least 3 times. He's going to get an interception versus us. I'm just going to let you guys know that now. If he does stay with Texas A&M, he's a very, very, very talented football player. We'll see if Texas can land him. I don't feel super confident right now, but again, guys, these things change overnight at this point. With the money being thrown around, everything like that, it changes very quickly. Number 2 for me is Brock Williams. I almost had, I believe Michael Muscana is his name from Michigan State in the transfer portal list because the tight end position is a premium for Steve Sarkisian. He said it himself. If we're looking at, highest priority on my offense, I'm putting quarterback 1 and tight end is debatable at number 2. He might have said just straight up tight end is number 2. Guys, we've had some really good tight ends, but we've yet to have a freak. We've yet to have a Brock Bowers. We've yet to have a Robert Gronkowski. We've yet to have a Tony Gonzalez. We've yet to have an Antonio Gates. I want to see a freakazoid at the tight end position in the Steve Sarkisian offense. Imagine a freak getting as wide open in the Steve Sarkisian offense as Jatavian Sanders did. Jatavian Sanders ran like a 4.7 plus 40-yard dash. He's not a great athlete. Might have been 4.6. I might have been a little bit mean there with Jatavian. But this guy is 6'5", 210 pounds from Illinois, long guy, lengthy, probably can put him on a little bit more weight. I'd like to get him up to 225 to play tight end if he came to Texas so he could block a little bit more. He's a better blocker than Jatavian Sanders was. Is he great? No. Can he get better? Yes. But again, I don't need him to be. I want a Brock Bowers in this Steve Sarkisian offense. And I think this is the closest thing in this upcoming recruiting class that can get us there. There were a couple guys, Caden Prothro and other guys in the last class that we tried to get that we were unable to get. The guy that went to USC, the name escapes me, but Caden Prothro and him were the 2 best, and we were in on him, but we just didn't get him. Brock Williams, go get Brock Williams. I know he's from Illinois. I don't know when the last time Texas landed in an Illinois guy has been, but it's been a very long time. So he's number 2 for me. Number 1 is going to stay the same. Number 1 to me is the most underrated offensive lineman in the state of Texas. Everyone talks about Kennedy Brown and others. I put this guy number 1, Ishmael Kamara. 26 nationally. He's only played, I think, two and a half years of football. This is a guy from Europe, talented football player. This is a guy, if you work with him, if you develop him, first round pick. 1-1 type potential, in my opinion. He really has that. I think he'd be better than Kelvin Banks because of the body type, the body style, and the way he plays. I love this kid. I think we are trending properly and in the right direction for Ishmael Kamara, but we'll have to see. Again, these things change. But number one for me is going to be Ishmael Kamara till the end of the thing. I will take him over any offensive lineman in this class for Texas. I will take him over any player. Honestly, maybe Brock Williams. That's like the only one I can think of Texas in on that I'm like, give it to me. I want that one. But Ishmael Kamara is number one for me. So my top five in order: number 5, Cam Hall; number 4, Peyton Miller; number 3, John Meredith; number 2, Brock Williams; and number 1, Ishmael Kamara. Again, guys, please hit that like button. Please subscribe down below. And let me know in the comment section what your top 5 prospects for the 2027 class is, guys. I really appreciate you guys being here. Please hit that like button. Please subscribe. That's going to do it for the 85th edition of Texas Longhorns Live. I really appreciate you guys being here. As always, please hit that like button. Please subscribe. Go over and give me a follow right there on X. Talking football, basketball, baseball, whatever you want to talk about. I will talk about sports with you. DM me. I'm open. Talk to me. Give me video ideas. I don't care. Again, guys, please do that. And as always, I'll be here Monday, 8 p.m. Eastern time with the next live show. And until then, hook 'em.
College football is even more exciting when you've got some action on the line, and the games are even better when you're cashing in. And the voice of college football is the place to be to get the greatest value. Start with my picks: 75% against the money line, 58% against the spread, and I've got a 40-plus year track record. 11-0 in the college football playoff for me last year against the money line, 8-3 against the spread. And I'm just the warm-up act. Steve Merrill of Wager Talk is our ace in the hole, show stopper. 7 years with the voice of college football, over 30 years in the industry. Steve gives us analysis on all the big games, but you can't miss Steve's weekly under-the-radar pick. 28-12 against the spread the last 3 years. You also get picks from some of our top analysts here at the Voice of College Football, including Corey Bratta, Matt Zemek, and Steve Dace. Check out those numbers. Become a YouTube or Patreon member for just $99 per month. Go to the main channel on YouTube, click join, and then select the betting tier. Do the same thing on Patreon. Make 2025 a winner now.